All right, we are live. And as you can tell from three beautiful faces and one ugly one, it's ladies' night. Do, 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 ladies' night. Do. Nobody's watching. It's fine.
There are literally 0 people
Yeah.
watching.
Oh,
This is the part of the podcast where you get to just be whatever you want to be.
do all the
Do. Well, there's one person. With each person that adds, there's a little
One
pressure.
heart already, though. Oh,
Oh, 5. Come on, bring in the love. Do a little bit of this.
Oh,
This brings
yeah.
in the love. Bring in the love. Ladies' night.
Jodi has
Oh,
a scoop.
ladies'
motion.
night. Yeah. Ba-bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-doo. Suit-suit-do. All right, you guys for sure recording? Because I'm recording.
I'm
Okay, I'll
recording.
check.
Yep, we're good. 7 people are
Yeah.
watching, which is a little disappointing. I want those numbers to swell. Come on, show your support for the ladies. I mean, after all, it's ladies' night. Bum, 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 ba-dum. Gabe,
That's not
are the
a
levels good?
ladies'
Are we
night
ready
kind
to
of
record?
music.
You gotta keep leaning in.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
I'm gonna get yelled at this whole hour.
Ready? I was gonna say ready, boys. Ready, ladies?
Yes,
Woo!
we are
Here
ready.
we go.
You are listening to the Lockdown live stream, a special edition Provoke and Inspire episode.
Why am I always the only one that dances?
I'm with you, Ben.
All right. Thank you, Ania. That means a lot to me. Welcome to the Provoke and Inspire podcast. For those who are lucky enough to be watching right now, you are staring at 3 beautiful ladies and 1 hobo. Welcome. We are so grateful that you have considered joining us today. Like I said, it's ladies' night during the day. This is edition number 2. It was so popular. The stream of just happiness and gratitude and bouquets of flowers forced us to do this again. So here we are, ladies.
Jodi
how are
doesn't
you?
look very convinced. She looked kind of cringeworthy, actually.
Hey, keep leaning in. Keep leaning in.
Oh.
Let's get close. Hey, we're married, so it's
No,
okay.
no.
We're married. We're allowed to
No.
do no
Yes.
social distancing. This is the closest we get all week, right? All right, ladies, how are you?
Pretty sure you made that joke last week.
We're great. I shouldn't speak for everybody. I'm great. I think.
Anya, how is Poland?
I am very good. Poland is wonderful, and I am very happy that I can be here in Poland, and I am the first Polish person in this podcast. So I just want to say, Witam Polskę! Woo!
I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that means fresh chicken for everyone.
Yeah.
I heard
That's
chicken.
right, that's
in
right.
there. I heard chicken. It's
All right.
true.
Well, I guess we're at the point of the wait. Hold on. Let me say this. Every single day we've been live streaming, typically 2, sometimes 3 p.m. Central Time. And for those that have joined us, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. If you miss an episode, go back, search Provoke and Inspire on iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify, or just Google it. You'll find our episodes. There you can listen to the ones you've missed. We had an amazing conversation with A.R. Bernard, pastor of a megachurch in New York City. I thought it was amazing. The ones where David and Luke and I are just rambling, those are hit or miss, but check those out. Leave us a review, leave us a rating. But before I ramble on any longer, it's time for Jodi's Random Story.
Man, I am really silly. I can't believe okay. Okay, breathe. All right. I knew that you were probably going to do this, and then I forgot that you were going to do
All right,
this.
I'll give you 3 seconds while I use
got it.
all of David's sound bites to give you some time.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
And now the
okay.
sun sets over Hunda la Hunda. I don't want to be a missionary, man.
Mhm.
Hunda la Hunda.
And we'll throw in 1 yawn.
Mhm.
All right.
That probably will be needed. Okay. All right. What I was thinking is, I think maybe David said something like this, but I always want to say, give you my version of it. So we were in New Zealand on tour, and we were down, I believe, in Christchurch, which is a town down south. So that was when we were being fed by the people that were hosting us. And I think you'll remember this, that they were giving us sausages, which is great. I like sausages, so I was excited about it. It was good. And so I think
Who
that
it is.
what, yeah. So anyway, so David went to go get one for me, which is really sweet of him. And so then he came back, but then Ton actually had my sausage, and so I thought, okay, good. Antonius, he now if he
Yeah,
should
where
be
is he?
listening.
Yeah,
Where
Where in
Ton.
the heck is
Antonius.
Ton?
It's kind of late
Because
in Germany, isn't it?
is it?
No,
Oh,
no, it's not.
Switzerland.
no, it's not.
Switzerland.
It's
Switzerland.
yeah, that's right. But
Carry on.
Antonius was the one that he was with us. He was on tour with us, and he brought the sausage, to me. And I said, "Oh, it's sweet. I have such nice people in my life." So he gave it to me, and I said, "Thanks, Ton. Thank you." Ton is his nickname. And so then I was about to, of course, take a bite of the sausage, and that's the moment that a little rat head jumped out. And it completely, I mean, I'm
What?
not used
Wait,
to
so this was a true story that David told?
yes.
Like a real rat, not like a plastic
re-
rat?
No, it was
Ugh.
real. It was
I don't want to be a
Oh.
missionary, man.
No, I don't wanna be a
exactly. I
missionary
didn't want to
either.
be a missionary after that either. I just thought, this is it. I'm done. And what I did, of course, what I did is when he put his little head out there, I grabbed the sausage even harder, and I just threw it down as far as I could go. And I was so
Oh.
mad. Yeah, it was actually a
So you
literal.
killed the
But how did
rat.
it end up inside? It was like in a bun?
With that sausage.
Yes, it was in a bun.
How did
It was
that
in a bun.
happen?
I have obviously my husband.
Too
and
many follow-up
Antonius.
questions. Sorry.
No, it's no problem. But it was just one of those things that you don't just
No.
forget about immediately. So I threw it
No.
away, and but then here's my what is that called?
The
when you
moral-
learn something.
the moral of the
moral of
story.
the story. I'm forgetting my English. The moral of the story was you always have to look inside of the bun before you eat your sausage, because you never know.
Every
what
Pole
will
knows
be in
that, right,
there.
Anya?
Every Pole knows that. That's right.
I
So
will never break my rule.
I'm-
That will be really bad.
I
am
believe a
still-
similar parable in Poland is always check the bush for a fresh chicken, lest there is a chicken in the fresh bush.
and you can bring it home.
It's a
So,
palindrome.
I want to tell you something, Ben. I'm going to have actually chickens in my garden. That was the decision. And my dad actually bought already 7 chickens in his farm to give it to us. So
As
he's
soon
a
as I figure out,
wonderful father.
as soon as I figure out what an actually chicken is, I'll be excited for you. All right. Like I said, there is a lot of work involved in these podcasts, as you can tell. I mean, we prepare so feverishly. But nonetheless, we do this every day. Courtney and I have young children. Currently, they're in a small cage, but we've given them water and gummy
Yes,
bears, so
good.
they're okay.
It's true.
Water and gummy bears, which is all Macklin
Wow,
really
like
eats anyway.
chickens.
Like wild
No
chickens.
chickens, just gummy bears.
Just
Sugar
gummy
is
bears.
the key to happiness.
Yeah, put that
No,
on. the
you treat them
bumper
like
sticker.
chickens. I just want to say.
Yeah. Anyway, no, our kids are currently with Nana and Papa, which is great. That's why we're here. But we would love it if you would share this. Right now, there are 29 of you watching. Give us a star. I don't even know what that means. Give us a heart. Give us one of those like, ha emojis, whatever. But tell someone, will you? Tell someone, be like, hey, do whatever it is you're not doing now, come and not do this, because no one's doing anything, right, ladies? They should be doing
It's
this.
true.
It's true. It
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. So I asked the ladies to prepare some things because we're going to be doing this every week for the foreseeable future because the demand is just too high to not give the people what they want. And so, Courtney, you had sort of a theme that you wanted to bring up today. I'll let you introduce that, and then we can, by we, I mean you guys can talk, and I'll just check out and maybe look at my phone or something.
Sure. Well, when we kind of were just thinking about how we're going to be on this each week, something that I have been processing is just asking God to kind of give me certain words or verses or just themes that he wants me to focus on during this time of really solitude, because all of our activities have stopped. And I should say we are technically breaking the law by our children being with Nana and Papa, so you shouldn't have said that. Okay, but
They're
it's for
in a
it's for the
cage.
people. Okay.
They're in a cage with water and gummy bears, and our quarantine doesn't start till tomorrow
that's
at
true.
midnight.
So
Yep.
I lead a mom's group. Well, I was leading a mom's group until we went into social distancing. And this was last spring. I had to come up with a theme verse for our group, and God really put this verse in Lamentations on my heart. And I don't even know if I've ever read the whole book of Lamentations. So I knew when this was kind of like a consistent theme in my life, I knew that this was really the verse that God had for our group. And during this time of social distancing and just having a lot of things to process, and for me, I'm a huge extrovert and just really wanting to be with people and not being able to be with people, and watching my kids also struggle with this because they're little, but they're also huge extroverts. And this is a challenge for them as well. And I can tell that they feel that like distance from people. And so I've just really been focusing on like, okay, God, because this is hard, I don't want to miss the point of it. So I'm just going to read Lamentations 3:21-23. And it says, "But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." And this part of the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. His mercies never come to an end. And this is something I've been kind of meditating on in the morning, that and this idea of mercy is kind of, I don't think, something that we often think about, like what does mercy actually mean? And that every day God offers me new mercies, that even if yesterday didn't go according to plan, or if it wasn't what I wanted, like every single day I have a fresh start with God. And great is his faithfulness. Can be trusted with this idea of offering us mercy every day. And for me, this has brought me a lot of comfort during this time. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about the idea of mercy, and how I also think it's important in a time like this to, and I know it's something that Jodi's talked a lot about at our school in Germany, is that you can often go through life and experience God's mercy and work in your life, and then never go back to that period. And you never look at how God was merciful to you in that time. And so in this time of quarantine, we maybe haven't seen God's mercy show up just yet, but I think it's important to be aware that he is going to show you mercy, and he is going to be faithful, and he's going to be new every day with a fresh start for you. And that it's important that we are focused, and that when this time comes to an end, we are aware and look back and make a make a stance, like this is how God was merciful to me in this time. And even during this time, I have thought about the ways that God has been merciful in my life, and it's really brought a lot of hope to me. But that was just kind of like the start of it, is just talking about how God's mercy never comes to an end, and just being aware of how God has done that in our personal lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been that for me. It's just going through this. We just went on lockdown. When was it? Yesterday at midnight or something like that, just in the last day. And through this whole time, I've really felt my humanness, and I felt like I need to be able to just admit that, because I'm his child, and I do need his mercy. I do need his help, and so it's just been every day. Like one day I will just think, why am I so impatient with with David or something? Why am I?
Well, that
I'm
makes
not.
sense.
But but I just it's weird. That is one thing that I've really noticed, that is that you can be really impatient, and and or just like you can't even calm your thoughts enough to get anything done, because you're just so swirling around trying to figure out, how do we adjust to this. We can't, we can go out a little bit, but not much, and it's just David and I, and how do we do this? And so, Courtney, I'm so with you on that. We need his mercy, and it has been really, all I have to do is just go to him and go, oh my goodness, be honest and say, oh, I'm just swirling here, Lord, or I'm so not nice to David, help me. Or just even greater things, like what are we going to do? What's this going to turn out like, this whole virus thing? So absolutely. And he's always proven himself to me. When I go to him, I just get this blanket of peace and so on. So it's absolutely, I'm with you.
I got a message from Gabe, and he said, "You look angry. You should smile more." So Good comment,
Thanks for
Jodi.
thanks for ruining our.
Jodi, that was great. No,
That's so
me,
much.
specifically me.
Yeah, I thought you were saying
Good.
I was
No,
right,
no,
but
you guys are
you.
great, but me. You guys, good. Good comment. Ania, what are ways that we can be intentional about recognizing God in this and not just becoming overwhelmed by the circumstances? How can we be intentional in seeing God's mercy even when things are pretty chaotic right now? Uh-oh.
She's
Ania just
frozen.
looks, she's like, wow, she's really thinking about it. Okay.
Oh,
Well, Jodi,
Anya,
actually, so Courtney,
No, yeah,
Yes,
I had
Courtney,
something to
go
say
back.
because I was going to say to Jody's response that it's important that we look at the way that God is working in our lives, not necessarily like we might not see it because we're only looking for what we want to see. Like, I want God to be merciful to me because I want this lockdown to end. Like, I want to be able to, like, to me, that's mercy. Like, God's mercy is going to show up when I get what I want. And that is not what God's mercy is. And I was telling Ben when I was praying over this 2 mornings ago, this idea of mercy, I just like was flooded. That's not the right.
Yep.
flood. I believe what you're looking for is floodage,
Flooded.
floodigated,
This memory of
fludentary.
this is a serious
Sorry.
comment, but when I was pregnant with our second child, and I was 40 weeks. So for all those who don't know about pregnancy, that's the end. Okay, that should be the end, and
This
it
is
was
the end.
not the end for me. And on that day, my grandma actually passed away. And she was somebody that I was really close to, and somebody that was a real like beacon of love for me in my life. And it was so hard, and not to mention you're dealing with emotions. And I had this like interesting thing happen in my life where I had chosen with my daughter to deliver her at a birth center. And for those of you in Europe, this is normal, but in America, this isn't quite as normal to deliver out of hospital. And so I delivered her in a bathtub, and there's no option for medication. And this was just something that like kind of fell into my lap, not something that I was doing because I wanted to be cool or to be strong. And I delivered her 5 days overdue. And so I was really processing this, the loss of my grandma. And it was just really hard because I wanted my grandma to meet my daughter, and I was supposed to talk and sing at my grandma's funeral. And I knew this wasn't going to happen because the funeral was 36 hours after she was born. And just like really just processing this loss. And when I was praying two mornings ago, I was just reminded like, and I think God kind of revealed his mercy to me in 2 mornings ago. And she's almost 2 years old, that through that experience of physical pain of delivering her, like I really felt everything happening in that 13-hour period. It was almost like a physical embodiment of the pain that I was feeling in my heart and in my mind. And in a way, it was so helpful because I couldn't express all the feelings that I was having and all the pain that I was experiencing during that time. And God was so merciful to me. He let me have this physical pain that obviously I don't want that pain, but it just like helped me release all of this burden that I had on my heart at that time. And I was just able to like let it all go. And I can't even describe it. And it maybe doesn't make sense to people, but I was like just so able to experience, like when my daughter was born, I like knew Jesus was there, like through the song that was playing. And I just felt like this was exactly the right time. And I don't know, like a burden lifted off my shoulders. And it sounds weird, but like that is one of those times where like that maybe doesn't seem like God really was merciful to me through a painful childbirth, but for me, I needed that time of this physical pain to release the emotional pain I was having. And like how merciful to God that he chose this birth plan for me that I would have never chosen for myself because I like drugs. And
Let's stop right there and put that on the button bar.
And to me, I was like, wow, God, like I could have so missed your mercy in my life if I wouldn't have been open to you showing me how you work when we least expect it.
Yeah.
Wow. Courtney, I mean, I don't know. That's not something you just react to and just quickly. That's huge. And it's so, it's your daughter being born, it's your grandmother going to Jesus, and and then Jesus is right in the middle of it, helping you to process that. I mean, that's just awesome. And that's so, for me, that's so reflective of who God is. I've and I want to stay on that because I think it's really, really powerful what you just said. And in our worst moments or our most difficult moments, he is there for us. And we need to really focus on that and give him credit for that and be grateful for that. My heart is, it's like I said, I want to go right back to what you said. So we will, but my heart has been really broken by, I was just listening to some kind of talk radio conversation, and they were saying, oh, who are the people that you are supposed to stay with, because now we're only supposed to be with people that that we just, like, I only can be with David here in the house. I can't, we can't go and visit other people and so on. And this guy called in and he was saying, well, I'm just here by myself, and he just was kind of going, well, yeah, my I'm not really close to my family. And I just thought, ugh, there's so much pain and so much loneliness out there, so I'm again, I'm quite emotional about it, but it's part of what this has been. And so when I hear that, that's so uh, evident, God's care for you. He was there. He knew exactly who you are and what you needed, and was there in his power and but as in his loving care. And so and that's what we need to bring for all these people, like this lonely guy. I mean, and the guy that was talking to him, on the radio, he wasn't that much better. He was kind of the same. And I think it's just across, so many people are feeling like that. So yeah, awesome, example. Really, really good, Courtney.
Yeah.
Really.
Sorry, we're trying to add Anya to this. I'll try to add her again.
Yeah.
Anya, are you there?
Hi.
Are you with us?
Good. Hi, Anya.
Okay, I need to
Welcome.
have mercy to the internet in Poland at the moment. You see, this is the time. This is the time that the internet is just like take over by everyone. So I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're okay. So we're just again talking about where we see God's mercy and how it manifests itself, maybe where we don't expect, and I think uniquely in pain, uniquely in crisis. And there seems to be this heightened awareness of our need for people, our need for hope. We don't sort of have that inoculated state of being that comes with just having everything we want, at least not everyone, but those of us in a privileged position. So how have you experienced mercy in a time like this? How can we look for God at a time like this? And she's gone. Oh, sorry, Anya. Bye, Poland. We love you. We will solve this problem somehow, some way. But
well, maybe not.
it's funny because even today, I was out in the parking lot of behind the place where we're staying, and this guy was walking by his daughter who was biking, and there was almost this weird magnetism between us where we knew we had to keep a distance, but I knew we were going to talk. And it was kind of strange because it was like we wanted that interaction, and it wasn't even questioned. It's like, you put this in a normal day 3 months ago and we're a couple of dudes, we might talk, we might make eye contact, probably not, because we were like 50 yards apart, 50 feet apart. And yet I knew we would talk, and we did. And it's like, I so appreciate, it's almost like everything's been turned up. The contrast, like that, everything is heightened. Our loneliness is heightened. The sense of God's mercy is heightened. Our sense for community and the need for that is heightened. Our loneliness, as exemplified through this radio program, is heightened. So I think in some ways it's almost like that. And yet we have an enemy that has an interest into getting us to be distracted and to not recognize God's mercy.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can just so easily miss everything. You can miss the mercy of God in a difficult time just by dialing it in or checking out or just going into survival mode. And that's like, I mean, that is definitely the worst thing we can do as Christians. And obviously we need to be there for people who don't know God, but for like us as Christians, like, we need to dial it in and choose to see how God will show up in this time, because
Yeah.
he is faithful and he will show up. And I think that's like like in a weird way, it's like a privilege to be in a
Mm.
spot where we're like, okay, God, we have nothing. And like, how often are, like what Ben was saying, we are so privileged. How often are we in a spot where like, I got nothing? Like usually my identity is in the fact that I got 10 activities a day. I get to, lead my workout classes. I get to, this, and this. And now I got nothing. Like the excitement I have is driving around to get my son to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Like that's the excitement.
So we've got some people commenting. Joseph, I don't think I've ever seen you on this podcast, so welcome. It's probably the ladies, and I don't blame you. But yeah, it's again, you want to smile, you want to chat, you want to stop. It's a paradox, right? Because at the very time when we're supposed to keep our distance, you almost feel magnetically pulled to people. Isn't that weird? And it's almost human nature that you want what you can't have all of a sudden. And also there's this weird solidarity in what we're all experiencing together. So Jodi, how do we look for God in all of this? How do we, because it's cool to have these nice moments, but how do we really extract everything that God wants to say and do through us and in us at a time like this? And how do we intentionally recognize God's hand? Because of course there's a lot to be just generally thankful for, because all of us, the two of us sitting here, you sitting there, we have a lot to be thankful for.
Yep.
But how do we really lean into what God might be saying to us at a time like this?
Yeah. Oh, I have a couple ways to go on that, but yesterday David did the podcast yesterday, and then we had a bunch of calls, and I was trying to. Both David and I are really trying to do what we should, as far as to help people and stuff, but I really was just my mind was just spinning, after all of that, after a morning of that. And I thought, what do I do? How can I really take advantage? How can I really hear God? My mind's spinning too much. So I decided a few things. One is I decided to rest because I just felt so tired. We have been really, really busy this whole time, calling people, looking for ways to be Jesus to people. And so I just rest. I took a nap, and it was so awesome. And then I even, and this sounds totally unspiritual, but it's really, really important. I watched a really good movie, at least part of it, and it was so much fun. And I just sat there and I just was happy.
Was
And
it Tommy Boy?
Yeah, it was Tommy Boy, but it's
Wayne's
only
World
like
1 or 2?
Well, I think Tommy Boy was first, and I couldn't get the Wayne's World, but
I'm more
that
of a
was,
hot rod guy myself, but
I know, but it was so much fun. I won't even tell you, no, it was, but so then, I just kind of thought, okay. And then I started reading the Bible, and seriously, this peace just came over me. It was so cool. I felt it just wafting, from wherever, just in my heart, of course. And I could actually then really hear God, because I had just calmed myself and just said, okay, Lord, what do you want me to do here? Because because it's so weird out there, your mind can just go and go and go, and you just can't even control your mind enough to go, okay, what are you saying? What's the one thing you're saying to me to do? And then do that with everything, and so that's one thing. It's just controlling our environment enough that stupid virus is not the one that's not the thing that's supposed to control us. It's awful, and we're praying that it'll end early, but we can give the control back to God and say, okay, you speak to me, you give me your peace.
Yeah. What do you think, Courtney?
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think especially in a time like this where like the one cool thing is like everything's quiet. Like your mind is, I mean, you have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of thoughts. My kids are not quiet. Ben is definitely not quiet. But Jodi already knows that. But you have a lot less distraction. What is that face for? That's distracting.
I'm all insecure because Gabe said I wasn't smiling. Now I don't know I don't know what to do with this face. Do I do this? Do I do this?
Just relax. That's probably it. It's just relax.
Okay.
There, that's it.
Yeah, no, that it's just like you don't have any distractions. Like you literally have nothing. Like Jodi, you are into like really in lockdown. We start tomorrow, but like you have nothing to go to. Like you can't go to the cafe. Like there is nothing
Right.
else you could go on a beach walk, which I guess is probably more exciting than 99% of us that are watching this right now. But we have nothing. So we really have that ability to pause
Mm.
and hear from God.
Yep. Yep.
And
Yeah.
that's not typical.
Yep. You know what? Another thought that came to me yesterday, I thought, you know what? Because I always like when God works in me like this. I thought, we can do some extraordinary things here. It's my fight. It's my
Mhm.
fight that's coming up to the surface, you know, and I'm saying we can do extraordinary things. We don't have to just, oh, this is horrible. This is, I mean, we don't have to resort to that because it is weird because basically, a lot of our freedom has been taken and
Yeah.
most of us really, really value that, but so then I thought, okay, no, I'm not, I am going to make something of this. I have God with me, so like just little things like yesterday we have had the most amazing sunsets and clouds in here in New Zealand. And so I was working on something. Actually, it's probably working on this downstairs. And David yelled at me and said, "Come on up, we got to go upstairs." And so we went upstairs and all the way up to the top, and we looked at the sky, and it was brilliant. It was not normal beautiful, it was brilliant. And so I just thought and just to have that just where we were sharing that together. I mean, there's so many things that we just don't have time for.
Mhm.
We aren't slowing down enough to even really experience it. And something that's also been on my mind, and again, we can just go from here on this, but um is that I really want to look at things like, have I forgiven that person? To really
Mm.
take time and whoever it is, whatever situation it was, to actually really do that extraordinary thing and say, okay, Lord, I'm willing to let this go, to not have this in my life. I don't want it in my life anymore, and to really focus in on it because I have time. I have
Hmm.
time and I can go take my walk and just say, okay, Lord, I've been dumb. I've held on to this. I want to let it go. And there's a lot of stuff like that if we will let God give us those extraordinary, because he is an extraordinary God, and he will give us those extraordinary ideas and not just look at it through human eyes like, oh my goodness, we are stuck in this house, and for us it's a month. And so it's when you first think about that, you go, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But extraordinary things can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have follow-up thoughts or comments? I don't want to dominate here. My mind is always
Please
erasing.
dominate. Please
Okay.
dominate.
Yeah. Again, it is such a mental let me say that again. It is such a mental recalibration, right? It's like everything that was important before just doesn't seem that important anymore. That rhymed, you know it. Put that on a t-shirt. But like even today, I'm like, I don't know, it's noon, and I'm on a scooter, and my son's biking next to me, my 4-year-old son Macklin, and the sun is shining, and I'm kind of thinking, what's more important than this? Like,
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter. Like, and there's just this beautiful simplicity, kind of like you're saying with your appreciation, your heightened appreciation for the sunsets and the clouds. It's like I have this
Yeah.
heightened appreciation for just like, eh, I'm not so
Mhm.
important. My schedule was not so important. My priorities were not so important. I'm just on this scooter, this grown man on this
Yeah.
little toy scooter, and I'm in a parking lot and the sun is shining and I'm happy. And there was just, I don't know, it kind of felt, again, sometimes I get these little visions from God. I feel like the kind of parallel his vision, his view of me, I get that parallel vision of me with my son, and I mentioned on this podcast about how when my morning routine got messed up and I just end up laying next to my boy who needed me early in the morning, and he wanted me just to lay next to him. And I get emotional even just talking about it,
Yeah.
but it was this beautiful picture, like God was saying, I just want you with me. Sometimes I want you to just chill with me, and that's enough. And so as I laid there and kind of put my routine down and just laid there to comfort my son, he wasn't feeling good at the time. I just felt like God said, "It's cool. It's cool. That's how I feel about you." And so there's just this beautiful recalibration, as I said, where even that heightened sense of unity, like how we were talking to A.R. Bernard, Dr. Bernard, he was saying, churches are coming together that would normally never talk, and they're working together to solve problems. I mentioned how 3M and Ford are putting down their agendas and working together to build ventilators, and they're going to build 70,000 this week and 100,000 next week, or by the middle of April. It's this incredible unity, because what's normal has been stripped away. The matrix has been unplugged, albeit temporary. And it's just, there's something kind of beautiful about that, don't you think?
Yep. You know what's interesting, and Courtney, please jump in. But it's, it's interesting that you said the last time the girls were on this, the last time. You
The
said
last time
something
the
about-
podcast was good, right?
Yes, 1 week ago today. It's been a snooze fest up until this point, but we are skyrocketing into popularity again.
Yeah. So the thing that you said to me that really actually struck me, and we didn't really I think address it. It was, our roles have changed, and what does that look like? What does that mean for us? And I think when you said it, I thought, oh, that's really interesting. I got to think about that, and I think I need to think about it more. But all of a sudden, your role, the identity that you put, that you connect with it, is not so important anymore. And I think it's a really cool, and that's one of those extraordinary things that we can ponder on and go, is my identity what it should be, or is it all wrapped in the wrong, wrapped up in all the wrong things?
Yeah. That's good. I even was like, this is a more shallow example, but we've been switching off working out early in the morning. Well, I'm not early. I chose the later shift.
You got to work on that.
But
fitness.
I'm kind of like, to go with my attitude of life, I'm kind of like, high intensity. It has to hurt. It has to burn. Otherwise, this is not worth my time. Like, people come to my classes because they like that I am a psychopath.
She's a group fitness
it's
instructor.
But I had this like really crazy moment, like totally with the role change. I was like, today I was working out and doing like a low impact, easy workout. And I was like, it is okay to change my mindset. Like, and that's obviously not an important topic, but like with working out, I'm like, it has to hurt and it needs to be crazy. It needs to be intense for it to count. And I had this like crazy thought. I'm like, I actually feel like released for the first time in such a long, like years of that need to make it count. I'm like, I can release this desire for it to be. And I know I was saying last time, like I needed to lay like down this idol in my life of getting in my workout, and that's true. And working out is still good, and everybody should be working out on lockdown because it's going to give you mental clarity and make you happy. But I just felt this like, I don't even like right now, I'm not jumping and I'm totally okay with that. And it was a really cool, like, I felt like this, like a light bulb went off in my mind. Like, this is okay. Like, it is okay to change who you are right now. Like, it is okay to become a new person.
Yeah.
That's incredible for me. That is just so incredible. It's because you are, you're really, you're energetic. You're going to do it. You're a hard worker. You're just so many good things. But it's so interesting that. Oh, I hope we have Ania on. But
she's blinking, and that's a good sign.
Oh, that's a good. She's alive.
Finish your thought, and
I am alive.
Okay.
I froze both
I
sometimes.
know. I'll finish my thought, and then it's all yours, baby. Okay. So, Courtney, just that whole thing of if there's things that we have just accepted as, oh, this is us, and we are always going to be this. Instead, just to give that to God and say, wait a minute, maybe I haven't been, and I'm not, this is between you and God. I'm saying it just generally. Maybe we haven't lived or we've said, this is how I'm going to be, and this is it. I'm not going to let God shape me or form me in this area. This is right. I'm not going to change. And that's part of that extraordinary thing. I think he can do those sort of things where we are far more like him after we get out of this mess.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool,
Yeah.
Courtney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Anya, it's time
Mm.
for some long-awaited Polish
Polish
wisdom.
wisdom.
Yes, we've
Yeah.
been waiting for you.
Bum bum
Yeah.
bum. Polish wisdom.
I hope it's not
Don't
going to
pause
break.
on us,
We've
okay?
been talking
Okay.
fast.
I'll try. No, I just would like to say something that what happened this morning because these verses are actually talking about, like how His mercy is shown to us in the morning even, and I was praying. I woke up 1 hour earlier by myself, 10 to 6, and I was so happy that I can just spend some more time with God, and I was praying, and I had some idea to send to Jodi. I said like, oh, I'm going to send her something, and then at this time I got the message from my friend. She is a manager of 4 clubs in Poland, in Wrocław, and she was just asking me how am I doing. She's not a believer. She's running LGBT club as well, and but she's just really amazing friend of mine. She just we run already so many events together, and I said, yeah, I'm fine, but how are you doing? And she said, oh, I'm good. And I said straight away, like, this is my message because this is my time. I said, like, do you need any help? Like, can I pray for you or something? And she said, actually, I would like to tell you something. I would like to tell you thank you so much for your prayer. When you came last time to visit me and you prayed for my mom, there was no so much hope because she was very sick, and now she's better. It's like a miracle, and I know it's because of God. And
Wow.
I just was like, wow, I didn't expect that to get it at 6 o'clock in the morning from her. And I just in this I really saw mercy, and I saw this hope, because I was like you were talking about this, and that sometimes we have to reset ourselves and think really what our life is bringing to this life, to other people, like why we are doing this. Do we have any fruits of things that we do? And then when I really, like, when I was thinking, I was so thankful to God that at this time He answered the prayer, and she was just totally open. She was like, yes, thank you so much for being for me. Of course, we need help. Like, now the business is going down, all of the people lost jobs, and she doesn't know what is going to happen. Even she's a manager of 4 clubs, and she just was so open. And I was like, okay, I'm going for it. I said, would you like to start Bible study with me? Because I prayed
Nice.
for her, I told her, and she's so open. And she said, yeah, sure, of course, let me
Mm,
know when I want to join.
Awesome.
So that's something that I really see. I know it's difficult time. I really know people are struggling and going through difficult times. But I know that now what was seeded, what was put it in hearts of others are going to bring the fruits. And we need to be open, and we can't cry off, like cry out of what's happening now at this time. I know that God is working in different time. And we don't know, we don't understand sometimes, like what will happen tomorrow and if my internet is not going to crash again, but I know that He's going to give us the time, particular time, to use it and be thankful and give glory to Him.
Yeah.
And that's why I just know this is His mercy, this is His love, this is hope that we have in Him. And we should just use this time because their hearts are ready to
Wow.
hear. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts, ladies?
Yeah.
Other ladies?
No, that's great, Anya. It's and it's I think, like you said, what you're saying is it's we've prayed and we've in faith, and now God is blessing you, and being merciful, and you see that response, and it's so good. And that's the sort of thing that we want to see here. I guess I just go back to the, I want to fight this. I don't want it just to be a time where we're afraid and we're depressed, or we're just so full of thoughts that we can't even get anything, do anything, or and yeah, that's what we need to pray for, is that we see those things, because God is in the things that when he was with you when you were talking to that woman, that beautiful woman, and now he's shown you this is how I've answered it, and that's what we need to expect. That's what we need to. That's the sort of thing. That's the God we serve. So we should be experiencing things like that. And what you said, Courtney, of just actually seeing and experiencing the joy of not having to be so whatever
Yeah.
it's cool. That's what we should expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like we lost Anya again, but
Oh,
not
no.
before a little nugget of Polish wisdom. So
Yes, exactly.
we
It was good.
benefited, and that's all that matters. I don't know. An interesting comment was made. So we have Veronica. Thank you for your viewership. She writes, unfortunately, many of us have lost the habit of enjoying small and simple things, which I agree with. But how I would like to reframe that is these are not small things and these are not simple things. In fact, I think the revelations we're having at a time like this are so important. And I think it's important that we recognize that really the things we think are so big are really pretty small. And the things that we think are so complex are really pretty simple. And that I don't want to go back from this. A phrase I initially resisted was the new normal. Get used to this. This is the new normal. And my part of me is like, no, I don't want this to be the new normal. But spiritually, let this be the new normal, right? Don't we want to, what can we learn from this, Courtney? How can we continue in this mode?
Well, like I said before, I just think it's so important that we don't like remembering how God has been merciful in our life. We don't get out of this time and just forget that the silence and the quietness and the way that God can speak to us when we're not full of noise, like we don't want to miss that. And unfortunately we're so fickle and we so just move on quickly to the next big and better thing. And I can see us being like, oh, we're free. Move on. I'll probably still do that.
I'm going to Starbucks.
But you can actually still do that.
And now the sunset over Hunda la Hunda.
I did a combined soundbite. Sorry, carry on.
You actually can still go to Starbucks.
Don't worry, I'll get out of the way.
And you should, because it supports the economy. Okay. Oh, now he's hiding. No, just we don't want to just be so fickle that we think about how great God is being now, and that this is great. Use this time, have all this, all this time to process and think, and then in a month and 6 weeks, Lord willing, we end in a month to 6 weeks. We move on to what we were doing before.
Yeah. Jodi, how do we build monuments?
Yeah.
How do we build monuments?
That was the word I was looking for. Monuments. Okay.
Yes, it's true. It's in Joshua. Yeah.
Let's end that way. How do we build monuments to this moment, lest we go back to our old ways?
Exactly, because it's just exactly. I agree. I've felt that's an important thing to do, no matter what stage we're in, what we're experiencing. But this especially, because I think we can say it very strong that God wants to bring some extraordinary changes in us. He does, if we're willing to not let all the craziness control us. If we say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go. And if I need to get some rest, I'll get some rest. But, and if I just need to go and just have some simple, something fun, I will do that. But then I am going to remember these changes. I'm going to let him change me and then write them down. There's all kinds of ways to do this. If you're a creative, if you're an artist, if you can paint, if you can draw, if you can write a song, whatever you can do, you should make a physical remembrance of what he's doing in you during this time, because we cannot let this go and just go, oh, okay, now we're free again. Forget all that. That was horrible. We'll just be the same as we were before we entered into this crazy time. So yes, use your creativity to build, actually, I would say a physical thing that you can look at every day and go, I remember. God had the Israelites do that. When they crossed the sea, they built a monument to what God did, and so they could remember, and their children would remember it. It's not just all about us. It's also about the people that are going to follow us. And we need to make a strong stand for God and say, I've made this. He's given me that ability to create this. And this is what's going to help me remember
Yeah.
the changes that he's brought in all of us, in me.
Yeah.
And if you're not creative, you could just write it down.
Of course, just write it down. But I think everybody is.
No,
that's-
I totally agree. I agree with that, but
Yeah.
I am not creative. So I'm creative,
I
but
think
I
everyone's
so wrong.
creative.
yeah, but
I
no,
do too.
well, okay, well, that's besides the point. I just was thinking when you were saying to like build a monument, I have a lot of times when I've just written down how God has used certain circumstances to change my heart or change my mind about something. And I haven't always written stuff down, but I just have specific memories of things in my life that I know I've written and I remember those.
Yeah.
Like I know 3 years ago we went through a really hard time and then we left for Germany for 10 weeks and I like was made a point to write down all the times that God changed my heart about the hard things that were going on. And I remember those. I know that God has worked in other ways and I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And that we could devote an entire episode
Yeah.
to. But
Yeah.
we're going to try to bring Ania on just for the end here because I do think we
Good.
should wrap it up. Again, the numbers have been great. For all of you who have stuck with us, if it's only because of the ladies, that's fine. I'm shameless. I'll take the glory any way I can get it, even if it's vicariously through the ladies. But no, you guys are awesome. I don't just say that because it's my wife and mother. And if I did not say that, I would be in deep trouble. No, you are awesome. I greatly appreciate your presence. We're going to do this every single week. The numbers are clear. People love it. One way that you could let us know that you love it is by rating it and reviewing it. So for those watching, it's pretty not clear on the screen here. Go on iTunes. Leave us one of these fandangled reviews, even if it just says, I only like it when it's the ladies. 5 stars. Hip, hip, hurrah.
Why do they have to be like from the Middle Ages when they make their review?
That's not the Middle Ages. That's actually the steampunk era, if you will.
Okay.
But anyway, otherwise, a few other things you can do. Hashtag hope beyond fear. Hashtag hope beyond fear. Go out, make a sign, leave an encouraging message, and use the hashtag hope beyond fear. And let someone know that Jesus is hope and encourage somebody. Mike, he encouraged me in my use fandangled. And for that, I salute you, my friend. Mike is a lovely lady. Anyway, so we're gonna bring on Ania just to say goodbye. Ania, I'm sorry. I really
Oh.
am.
Hi, Anya.
Yes, I'm very sorry too. That's really,
Yeah.
but
See-
I'm so happy to be part of this and, like to talk to you, to Courtney and Jodi. I know it wasn't the best, but I did the best. Sorry. It's
Hey, we
internet.
love you. We
Look,
love you.
it's
Don't
not
matter.
your
Don't
fault.
worry
It's
about
not your
it.
fault.
Don't
In
worry about it.
Poland, the way the Wi-Fi works is they have a guy on a bicycle, and then they feed him lots of potatoes, and he just pedals as fast as he can, and he's tired right now. Right, Anya?
Oh, he can't do it. You see, maybe he's just locked.
He's like,
No, they're actually out of potatoes.
they're like, come on, go, Kuba,
Oh,
bike. Oh, she's gone.
She was mad.
She was mad.
Exit.
Anyway, we love
Aw.
you. Thanks for listening to the Ladies' Night During the Day edition of the Provoke and Inspire podcast, otherwise known as Lockdown Live Stream number 9. They'll be on next week. We have a ton of guests coming. I know I said that about this week, but we're schedule shenanigans. We're working on it. We're going to keep doing this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we're going to try to do it, I don't know, into the ongoing future. So you'll be seeing plenty of us. Share this. Come on. With someone that needs to hear this, they can listen. If they don't want to watch, just type in Provoke and Inspire. That's pretty much all. One last time, let's all say goodbye.
Love you guys. Love
Goodbye.
Anya. There she is. Bye.
We love you, everyone.
Yeah, love you all. Minus Mike.
Yeah.
Minus
Talk to you
Mike.
next time.
Bye.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. I love you. Get that man some potatoes. Peace.